hope you're having a great week, even though it's kind of rainy outside today and looks like it's going to be that way this week. I'm here to share just a book and kind of along the lines of Abraham's story that we've been thinking about. I was just thinking about how, we know Abraham had some ups and downs with his faith. And we saw on Sunday, he and Sarah finally had Isaac and saw that promise of God's fulfilled. So that was really good. And we're going to come to a story this week that's really weird in the Bible. And it's in Genesis chapter 22. If you want to kind of read about it before our lesson on Sunday, and I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. But they finally had the baby. They waited so long, right? They're like 190 years old, 100, and then Sarah was 90. When they finally had Isaac, and it was just all these years of waiting, and I can just imagine, so much happiness and feeling really confident in God. And then we don't know exactly how old Isaac is in Genesis 22, or maybe it says, and I just didn't notice it, but he's a boy, and Abraham is asked by God to take him and sacrifice him. And it's a really weird story. Can't imagine what Abraham was thinking. On the one hand, maybe he was thinking, I totally trust you, God, and here I go. He does go, Or maybe he was thinking, this is horrible. This is so awful. Why am I doing this, God? But okay, here I go. We don't know. We just know that he went, and God was pleased with the faith that Abraham had in him, the trust he had in him. And, we've been talking about that verse from Isaiah 41:10, where God says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed. I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And so I was thinking about how so many of us, and this includes adults big time, maybe even more than a lot of you kids, that we like to know what's coming and kind of be prepared for it. Prepare our minds and prepare whatever we think we need, material goods, just like with this quarantine stuff. Remember when people were hoarding toilet paper and soap and hand sanitizer? And that's still happening to a degree, because why else would stores have to have signs on certain products in the store saying that there's a limit to one or two that people can buy at a time? People want to be prepared in case things get bad again. And it seems to be kind of part of human nature that we want to know what's going to happen. We want to be like really over prepared almost, okay? So thinking about that, I have a story to share with you. Just in Case by Judith Viorst, and she is also the author of Alexander and The Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. So she's a great author, and I thought about reading this one to you because can you imagine what a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day it was when God told Abraham, you're going to have to sacrifice Isaac? But then I thought, really what we're talking about is trust. Even when we don't know what's going to happen, even when things get bad, or things are great. We like to be prepared, and we just can't always be prepared. We have to trust in our God. Things are always in his hands, and he's always ready. Nothing surprises him, and that's a great thought. But let's read about a little boy that maybe you'll be able to relate to. He likes to be prepared. Okay, just in case. Charlie, whenever it's raining real hard, thinks, supposing it rains in the house, and rains down so hard that it makes the furniture float. So Charlie puts on his waterproof boots and goggles to cover his eyes. He puts on his yellow rain hat and yellow raincoat. Then he opens up his special umbrella, the one that looks like a frog, and then he blows up his inflatable plastic boat, which will float around with the furniture until it's a sunshiny day. Charlie knows how to be ready, and Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. And just in case when his parents go out and his favorite sitter can't come, and the lady who comes to sit is bossy and mean, so mean that she won't read him storybooks and won't let him look at TV and won't let him have dessert till he eats every bean, Charlie is going to make her not glad that she came to sit by doing all kinds of weird stuff that she's never seen, like washing his feet in the toilet bowl, like wearing his shoes on his ears, like painting his face a most horrible shade of green. Then the sitter will phone his mom and dad. "Save me from Charlie," she'll say. And they will, because Charlie is ready. Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. My guess is he'd also be in big trouble, because my kids would be in big trouble if they did anything like that to a babysitter. And just in case all the food stores are closed and stay closed for a really long time, and there's nothing left to eat except dirty old socks. That kind of sounds familiar. Like we were saying, some people have been afraid, like, oh, they're going to run out of flour or soup at the store. Let me just buy all of it, right? Charlie has made 117 peanut butter sandwiches and wrapped them up nicely and packed them all in a box, along with some blueberry yogurt and crispy crackers. That's for his mom. And for his dad, lots of bagels with cream cheese and lox. So there's plenty of food for everyone straight through the middle of May. Charlie tries to be ready. And Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. He's kind of worn out from that effort, right? Making 117 peanut butter sandwiches would take a lot, wouldn't it? And sometimes Charlie is lying in bed and he's staring right up at the dark, long after he's brushed his teeth, washed his face, and said a prayer. And everyone else is deep asleep instead of awake and wondering, what is that creakety creak, 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 creak on the stair? Has this ever happened to you? You get worried in the night? That used to happen to me, and still does occasionally. So Charlie gets up and puts on his cape, and he puts on his fierce black mask. He finds his sword and twirls it in the air. Then he stands by the door and says through the door in his superhero voice, "Whoever you are and whatever you want, beware. Whoever you are, beware," he says. It's a pretty good method. Making himself feel brave, right? Till whoever it is goes away. Aw, it was the dog. Charlie knows how to be ready, and Charlie likes to be ready just in case. And just in case, if a lion gets loose and goes prowling through street after street, and he prowls onto Charlie's street a little past dawn, Charlie has started digging a pit. He will cover it over with leaves, and which the lion will walk on, and whoosh, that line's gone. And rather than chewing up Charlie for lunch with his big white pointy teeth, he'll sit in the pit that Charlie has dug in the lawn, till the zookeeper tells him, "Get back to the zoo." Charlie hopes he'll obey, but meanwhile Charlie is ready. Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. Kind of a silly thing to worry about, but don't we worry about some silly things sometimes? I know I do. And sometimes Charlie is walking to school and he's watching the birds fly south and worrying, maybe a bird's after him instead. And maybe she'll swoop him up in her beak and carry him off to her nest and make him eat worms, which is what bird babies are fed. Or maybe she'll, let him drop, which is why he took his helmet along to protect his head if he, should land on his head, plus a sleeping bag if he has to sleep on a nest made of scratchy twigs, which is what, when birds go to bed, they use for a bed, plus a parachute if he's stuck in that nest and he doesn't wish to stay. Because Charlie tries to be ready, and Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. And sometimes when Charlie's down at the beach building castles and forts in the sand, he's thinking a mermaid could grab him by his big toe and pull him far out into the ocean. So he has taken his rowing oars, and back to the shore on the mermaid's back he will row. Then he'll wrap her up in his fishing net, for of course he brought a net too, and throw her back into the sea with one mighty throw, telling the mermaid, find mermaids, not boys, the next time that you want to play. And once again, Charlie is ready. Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. Do you think he can be ready for everything? Let's see. Charlie woke up very early today. He has been waiting for presents and cards and happy birthday to use since he opened his eyes. So it's his birthday, right? But nobody's even given him one little thing, not even a birthday hug. While he's feeling so sad that the whole wide world forgot about his birthday. The doorbell rings, and the house fills with girls and with guys, bringing birthday presents for Charlie, singing, "Happy birthday, dear Charlie! We're here for your birthday party! Surprise! Surprise!" And Charlie isn't ready. He isn't the slightest bit ready, but maybe not being ready is sometimes okay. Though Charlie knows how to be ready, and Charlie tries to be ready, and Charlie likes to be ready, just in case. He's ready to go join his birthday party with his dog. Okay, so even Charlie, who was ready for a lion in the neighborhood and a bird's nest situation, couldn't be ready for a surprise birthday party. So it ended up being a really good surprise. So sometimes it's okay to not be ready. And guess what? When we know that we're in God's hand, we know that we're protected. Remember what he told Abraham back a few verses? He started out when he talked to him by telling him, I am your, do you remember? Shield. It said in chapter 15 of Genesis, verse 1, do not be afraid, Abram, I am your shield, your very great reward. And that's better than a surprise birthday party. We're going to find, and please feel free, I encourage you to read Genesis chapter 22 at home this week, getting ready for this lesson on Sunday. It seems like a really bad thing. Remember when we read the book, that's good, that's bad. It's like God says, okay, you're going to have to take Isaac and sacrifice him. And we think, that's bad. Oh, that's so bad. Here's Isaac. This promise fulfilled that God's been telling him all these years, saying, you're going to be the father of many. I'm going to give you a son through Sarah. And there's going to be all these children come through him. And so finally it happens. Yay, that's good. Now God says you have to sacrifice him. Ooh, that's bad. But no, it's actually good. It's going to be a surprise for Abraham, kind of. The best surprise in that God stops him. And I know I'm spoiling the story, but hopefully you already knew that story anyway. If you didn't, go ahead and read it. God's going to stop him. And it's also going to show God how willing Abraham is to put his trust in him, to believe that God is his shield. He's going to protect him. He has the great reward. So instead of trying to make ourselves ready for everything this week, let's look to God and let's let him be the one who's ready for whatever comes, because he is our shield. And we've been talking about the verse Isaiah 41:10. So let's close with that. It says, see if you can say it with me. And if you've listened to that Seeds family worship song, it makes it so much easier to remember the song. My only problem is that I want to repeat things over and over like the song does. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Let's make that our mantra this week instead of, I like to be ready. I am ready, just in case. Instead, let's make Isaiah 41:10 the thing that we repeat to ourselves in our minds, or you might like to repeat what God told Abraham. I am your shield, your very great reward. Have a great week. Bye.